So we are seeing the rates of the non-Muslims in the Islamic State. So another one, likewise, non-Muslims have to be given a choice to get their civil cases decided either according to the Islamic law or according to their own personal laws. Equal nations among themselves shall be governed by the law of their own religion unless if they opt for Sharia. So under this we shall see that the non-Muslims, if they happen to live in the Islamic State, they should be allowed and they should also be permitted. It's up to them to choose. Either their issues are handled by the Sharia law or they should be handled by their respective religious leaders. So if they opt for their religious leaders, if they commit offenses, they will be judged as what the Bible tells them or what their religions tell them. But if they say that we are okay with the Sharia system, so then if they go the Sharia system, if they commit sins, if they disobey rules and regulations, then they'll be subjected to Sharia law, but out of their own will, then they should not be subjected by force. However, in punishing the crimes against humanity such as adultery, murder, theft, robbery, assault, etc., the same law was applicable to all and the sundry in the state. So, for instance, for crimes such as adultery, murder, theft, robbery, assault, for them the laws they apply to they apply to all of them. Another one, Islam does not impose its own way of life or faith on others because according to the teachings of the Quran, there is no compulsion in religion. However, it does not mean that Muslims should preach. However, this does not mean that Muslims should not preach Islam. Muslims may invite non-Muslims to the fold of Islam, but in a decent, cultured, and behaving manner. So, under this because there is no compulsion in religion, we can't be the same. But this doesn't mean that we shouldn't spread Islam. Let us spread Islam, but in a decent way, not in a violent way. They are, however, forbidden to compel others to embrace Islam by force. It follows that non-Muslim minorities of the Islamic State can freely and fearlessly perform their religious ceremonies in places of their worship. So under this, we shall say that the non-Muslims they should be allowed to perform their rituals in their respective places of worship without the Islamic State intervening. But we can spread Islam to them, but in a good way. If they decide to live in their regions, it is well and good. We shouldn't impose Islam forcefully on them. Likewise, non-Muslims are allowed to perform their rituals within the places of worship in towns where they are in majority. They may also perform their religious functions outside their churches and synagogues. Synagogues, this is where the Jews pray from. They have also been given the liberty to beat their trumpets for religious ends anytime in the day or night, but must respect Muslim prayer time. So under this, they can perform their rituals both in their churches or synagogues or even outside. It depends because, for instance, just that there is when they have a Kurium Salaba, whereby they carry the cross and move with it. It is well and good. You know, this at times they ring bells. This at times that's how they call people for prayers. They are allowed, so as long as they respect the prayer time for Muslims. They are allowed to form a because having trumpets, as long as even they don't interrupt other people's peace. Another one, in fact, in safeguarding the rights of non-Muslims, Islam has given them such liberal concessions as to give them the liberty of maintaining even the practices which are forbidden to Muslims. For them, Islam has given them the permission. For example, the consumption of intoxicants is forbidden to Muslims, but the non-Muslims have the liberty not only of consumption but also of its manufacture, but also for its manufacturing. For the non-Muslim in Islam, it's not allowed to take alcohol. It's not allowed to manufacture alcohol. But for the non-Muslims, they are permitted. They are permitted to take. In Islam, say they are permitted to take alcohol. They are permitted even to manufacture it as long as they follow guidelines as per the Islamic State, the certain Islamic State has chosen. Another, Islam provides equal opportunities to its non-Muslim citizens in the economic field of life. They are given the freedom to adopt any profession subject to the common law of the country. However, they cannot practice riba usually, which is prohibited for all and sundry in the Islamic State. So they are allowed to access all opportunities in the Islamic State. For instance, they can apply as bankers, they can apply as guards, they can apply as managers, as CEOs, but in condition that these people they don't practice usually. For instance, one of the managers of the Islamic Bank here in Uganda is not a Muslim. One of their managers is not a Muslim here in Uganda. He's not a what? Muslim. But he's there, but he doesn't practice riba. These people are how much they are allowed, for instance, to engage in banking, owning banks. But as long as their banks, when it comes to Islamic State, as long as their banks don't practice riba, because that cuts across, Islam doesn't believe in riba. Even if you are a non-Muslim and when you're an Islamic State, you should abide that there should not be riba. You should not practice riba however much their religion accepts it. Another one. It is important to note that if any of the non-Muslims become destitute, crippled, or sick, he has much claims on the state treasury as any other Muslim. If any of the non-Muslims fall sick, he or she faces certain problems in life, then this person is a subject to the Islamic treasury. You should get money from the Islamic treasury to cater for this person. He has fallen sick. His shelter, for instance, calamities are falling, their houses are being destroyed. We should get from the state treasury of the Islamic system, as long as they are our citizens, and cater for them so that they also have a better life. A non-Muslim citizen of the Islamic State cannot offer his services for any political office for which he is not just if for which he is not fit, just as a Muslim is in the same state. No, of course, a non-Muslim can be overburdened with such responsibility because political services in the Sharia are not their rights. This is why they may not come in for political systems in political posts in the Islamic State. Why? Because the Sharia law is not the law that governs them. So this person may feel that I'm not welcome under the Sharia law, so I won't go in for political offices. I will only remain for other offices which don't involve politics. It is also important to know that if any of the non-Muslims, we have finished that, a non-Muslim citizen cannot offer services to a political office. Another, non-Muslims have a right to fair representation in the legislative assemblies. So the non-Muslims have the right to representation in the legislative assemblies. Trustworthy persons from among the non-Muslims may also be entrusted with their important responsibilities that involve no matter of belief of the Muslim population. In fact, the most amazing feature of the Abbasid Caliphate has been that the proponent number of non-Muslims in the different departments of their state. We shall see that the non-Muslims they are permitted to have responsibilities in the Islamic State. For instance, they might be assigned tasks that you will be the Minister of Education, and this person is not a Muslim. They might be assigned that so and so Rita will be the permanent secretary of Ministry of Finance in the Islamic State. So the non-Muslims, we shall say that in Islamic states, they are given responsibilities. We shall say that in the Abbasid Caliphate, the non-Muslims who are living in the Islamic State got chances of being in offices of responsibilities. So these people, they have the right of being represented in their legislative assemblies equally, and their voices should also be heard out. In addition to that, we shall say that some schools, for instance, for me I did in an Islamic school, but the rector is not a Muslim. Muslims were there, but why? They are trying to show these people that however much for us we are Muslims, but also accommodate people of other religions. So if these people, if this person is competent, this person is trustworthy, he wants to, because you shall find that there are non-Muslims who are more trustworthy than Muslims. If this person is competent for this post, there is no reason why you don't give him or her this post. If this person is competent, feel free to give them that post and they serve. Another one, what the Islamic State demands for the non-Muslim is loyalty to the state in the matter of stability and law and order. So this is the non-Muslims, what is being demanded out of them is they should be loyal to law and order. They should not be law breakers. Their loyalty to their state is like that of Muslim citizens. Hence, their loyalty should not be suspected until otherwise proven. So they should be loyal. But if they tend to be non-loyal, they go against by the rules and regulations, then that's when these people can be punished. That's when these people can be they can be punished. They can be subjected to various forms of punishments. That we shall end from there. With the limit of subhanahu wa ta'ala grants us with the best. What else have not covered, then we shall be seeing how we shall be covering them. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.